Hello everybody, this is Michael coming to you from CRAFTEX on a pre-recorded program, so hopefully you'll be seeing this next week. So guess what folks, it is fall, believe it or not. Fall and autumn are approaching and we're really excited about it here at CRAFTEX. So you need to come by and look at all the beautiful fall, autumn, and even Halloween decorations that are going up as I speak right now. So of course, fall and autumn, these are my favorite times of year because it's always a prelude to Christmas. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to make a simple arrangement of just an assortment of different gourds and pumpkins and a little bit of greenery and berries and some ribbon. We're going to use some accents. So I hope you enjoy what I'm doing for you today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to showcase an arrangement in a pretty ceramic bowl. This bowl, I can give you an idea, is 126. And it's basically just a beautiful version of another blue and white container that we have here at CRAFTEX. As you know, here at CRAFTEX, we are very proud of our blue and white collection, and we have several pieces from several different manufacturers and different lines as well. So, and of course, they're always so versatile. They can be switched out for just about every season, and I think something like this can be used just on display in a beautiful shelf or a cocktail table, perhaps something on a kitchen bar or an entryway. But I thought, you know, this would be such a lovely piece to kind of work with. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to work with an assortment of different gourds that you can probably see on the table here, and berries and foliages, and again, some ribbon and maybe just a few birds' nests. So again, we pre-foamed the container and I pre-mossed the container. So all of that's already done just for time's sake here. And I'm going to start by making my first, insertion. So I'm going to do is just take a pumpkin and I'm going to pierce this. I'm going to take a pair of scissors and just pierce this. And I'm going to insert a little glue. And here at CRAFTEX, we have tons of these sticks, and these are actually floral stems. This is exactly what I saved these for doing things like this. And these stems have all kinds of different functions, and this is one of those things that we do. And I'm basically just going to insert that or pierce that into the foam. So as you can see, it's basically just kind of floating outside of the actual container itself. I'm going to mix in an assortment of different size pumpkins, and I'm going to insert them in different angles. And these pumpkins are, of course, lightweight, and they're pretty much easy to puncture. So if you have a screwdriver or an awl or an ice pick that you can possibly just sort of insert into your pumpkin. And I'm just going to keep turning the bowl, trying to make room so I can accommodate all the different sizes of pumpkins and gourds that I have. So I need to find where I just poked it. Oh, here it is. And even though this is a pre-taped or pre-recorded video, please leave your comments. I'd love to hear what all of you have to say and about this arrangement. And if you have any questions, I will try and get on and respond to whatever questions you might have regarding this piece. And some of you may wonder, well, how did you come up with the combination of colors of pumpkins? And quite honestly, I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. I just kind of went through the showroom and just sort of started picking different things that I thought would look kind of fun arranged in the actual bowl. And I've got a pretty little moss ball here. You know, I thought, why not throw in a little moss ball? It doesn't have to be just pumpkins. You know, moss balls can be used throughout the year And this is something, we have these in various sizes, smaller, larger. You could even probably throw in a boxwood ball if you wanted to. And we have different balls in different colors and textures, probably like a vine ball, something made of woven grapevine or wicker materials as well, just to keep it interesting. I like to see different colors and textures just playing off of one another. I've got a pretty little artichoke here that I think is just so beautiful. We have beautiful artichokes here at the store. I have all kinds of different fruits and vegetables that are here. But I love this color of green, and I thought, oh, that would be just so nice to use. And it's just, I'm trying to use one of everything. So even at home, perhaps you have just a collection of different pumpkins and gourds. You know, you don't always have to have twos of everything. You know, you can make something just using onesies of everything. Now here, I'm going to go ahead and stop making insertions in terms of my bigger components so you can see what's going on here in terms of how I have everything set. I just want this to look like it just sort of accidentally, all the pumpkins got sort of accidentally placed or rolled into the bowl. And right now I'm going to cut apart a particular leaf that I thought would be pretty for fall. This I don't have a particular description for, but I have an item number of 85715. And I've taken this and I've actually cut it, and I'm probably going to cut it again, just to make some insertions for color. And I think this will kind of help highlight this beautiful burgundy colored pumpkin or gourd that I've inserted as well. So I wanted to bring a little extra color. You know, you don't always have to use oranges in all of your, or orange colored items in your fall themed arrangements of florals. Always try and think outside of the box. You know, there's so many other colors that are represented in fall. They don't always have to be orange and or yellow. Remember, I know we don't live in the northern climates where everyone that's lucky enough to live up north, of course, you get to experience the change of seasons and with all the leaves and everything changing color. All that doesn't happen down here in the south, if it happens at all, until after Christmas, before all the cold weather and freezes come in. So again, I'm trying to stay within the parameter of the container, but I'm giving it a little extra volume and visual weight by bringing the arrangement up as well. I'm going to fill in with some pretty greenery. This is actually called a euonymus leaf, and I have an item number of FL6852-GC, and I thought this would be pretty to sort of bring in a little bit of green, a little variegation for highlights and lowlights. And as I said, I just cut off that stem. I'm going to save this stem. Hi, Cher. I love you too. You know, while this is just an artificial arrangement, you could certainly do something like this using fresh product. Fresh gourds, fresh greenery that maybe you've clipped out from your landscaping or from your backyard or whatnot. It doesn't always have to be about artificial things. I'm going to throw in something that has a little bit more of a lacy texture in terms of greenery. This is actually called a smilax. This item is 102584 GRN. And I'm going to break this apart into different pieces just to give us a little bit more of a lighter, lacy texture. I inserted the scissors into the foam just to sort of create a pilot hole. Again, doing the same thing again, making an insertion in the foam, and I'm just going to make that. And I'll turn this around so you can see what that looks like as I'm working. I don't know if any of you know what smilax is, but smilax is a very fun product to work with, even in the fresh world, especially when it comes to doing parties and event work. You can get big bundles of this to create some really dramatic centerpieces and arrangements, and I think it's relatively inexpensive for what it is, because you can get a big look and not spend a whole or too much of money. So again, I'm just turning that around so you can see what that looks like. I don't know if you know what these things are. These are actually called crab apples, and I have a number here of 601224 in case you want to probably acquire some of these. We have plenty of these in stock. And of course, crab apples are something that I associate with the turns of the season, and are probably in more abundance now. I don't know if you know anything or too much about crab apples, but crab apples don't always just grow straight off of a branch. A lot of times if you get these in the fresh flower sector, a lot of them are all kind of twisted and turned and gnarled in different directions and whatnot. So I'm just trying to mimic that. And when you work with these kinds of things in the fresh flower world, you don't always have the opportunity of doing what we're doing and twisting and turning and bending and manipulating. So trying to mimic what you see in nature to kind of make these things look a little bit more realistic is something that we like to do here at CRAFTEX. We want people to question, is that real? Is that an artificial item? And sometimes you can always mix the two, mix a little fresh, mix a little artificial together. Crab apples and or pomegranates. This could either be a pomegranate as well. I think it's a lovely item to work with. Now remember I said earlier about tucking in a few orange things. This is one leaf branch that we have here at CRAFTEX. I'm just going to use a little bit of it. This is a nice branch. It's a maple branch, and this number is 507-397. And I believe this comes in 3 different colorways. There's an orange, I think there's one of a more of a burgundy color, and one that's sort of a mixture of different shades of the fall tones as well. But I'm going to cut this up, and I'm going to tuck this in. Again, just for some color. I'm going to insert a little garland or a little twig that has a little bird's nest running through it. This is kind of a fun look. It's a mossed branch, twig vine with 2 bird's nests. I have an item number of S1516/36-GBRN. And again, I like to shape all the branches and have fun with these and just sort of, you know, make it look as if this was something that maybe you pulled out of your yard or landscaping, a little twig vine. And I like to manipulate some of these branches and twigs and sort of encapsulate or what's going on here. I think it adds a little bit more interest to the arrangement. And make sure to, you know, all these little tendrils of artificial vine, make sure to kind of manipulate those and twist those around and play with them and make them look like little curlicues where they're more naturally occurring. I think this is a fun thing to do where it just looks like they're just nestling in. I've got another cute little bird's nest that I'm using. Item number, this is the long number, 746-427-85772NE. It's $4.95 each, a little mossed bird's nest. I'm going to take a piece of wire and I'm going to pierce the bird's nest. Gonna secure that. I'm going to find a place for this, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to secure this to one of the branches. Again, continue fluffing and just playing and making sure that everything sets right. I think this is actually looking very nice. And I think if you, when the camera, I shall probably take some photos after this, but as you can see, there are all kinds of different things going on in this arrangement. I think it's important that when you make such an arrangement, or any arrangement for that matter, you should have hills and valleys, and it's always kind of fun to look inside an arrangement and explore as to what's going on in this little microcosm or this little world that we're creating here with all the bird's nests and twigs and branches that are happening. I thought about adding some berries to this, but I think I'm going to stay with this medium, what's happening here. But I'm also going to tuck in a little bit of ribbon. I'm going to use this particular ribbon. It's a velvet ribbon that's coming from one of my favorite manufacturers. This is coming from Ferrosilk. And this particular ribbon is actually a cinnamon colored ribbon, which I think is appropriate for the season. This is an RG008-34. Gorgeous, gorgeous texture. This is a 10-yard bolt, and it is a 1-inch ribbon. So instead of making bows per se, I'm going to make just little ribbon loops. So if any of you are expert bow makers, I'm just going to make just a few uneven loops of ribbon. Not really a bow, what I like to call more of a bowette. I don't think anybody else uses that term. I think I probably may have coined that term, but because I think we all kind of use it here at the at the store. So when you just really not into ribbon, maybe not into bows, I like to use ribbon and bows and everything just to kind of dress it up, dress whatever it is we're working on. And of course, as you know, we're a big ribbon distributor, so I'm a big lover of ribbon. But just little elements, little touches here and there, just for some interest. And again, playing on texture. I'm just going to find a place for this. I'll turn this around so you can see when I'm through. And again, just little tufts, some big loops, some with a medium-sized loop, just showing off the ribbon. And I like to cut the tails a little long so you can play with the tails and have the ribbon running through the arrangement. I think that's always such a pretty look. And again, I'm just going to find an area or a stem to tie that off into so it stays secure, so it doesn't move. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to go right through the loop so it looks like it's just coming right through the ribbon, and the ribbon is just another design element that we're playing with, and having that ribbon just sort of run through and play with the tails. And I'll probably take just a few pieces of ribbon, about so. I'm going to trim off or curl the edges here, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Something really quickly. I'm going to do this, and I'm just sort of basically going to trail this through. So the ribbon looks like it's just sort of dancing, dancing through the arrangement. And there's really no need to secure it. If you wanted to tie it down, you could, but I just think I like the way that just sort of free-flowing look, where it's just, again, just sort of traveling through, dancing through the arrangement. So that's essentially what I have for you today. And I'll probably come back in a little bit and just kind of tuck in a few extra leaves where I see a few holes here and there, but this is essentially what I have for you. So thank you for tuning in, and of course as I said earlier, we're going to probably be, I think this will go up either today, sometime this week, or the end of the week, and then of course we're going to be doing our lives again to Tuesday, moving our lives to Tuesday at 3 o'clock. So look forward to that. So we'll have a lot more items to show you in terms of our fall items and more Christmas items now that we're in the season. We're on the cusp of the season and people are interested in buying holiday. And of course, all the new things that are coming in. We'll probably do a segment where we're showcasing some of those things. And remember, folks, look online because we're going to be hosting our holiday workshop next month in August, which is just another day away. So go online and you can see all the details there, all the photos of the things that we're going to be offering. So again, go to CRAFTEX.com, look at our webpage. You'll be able to find information on the master workshop that's coming up in August, and all the different events that are happening, and of course our e-commerce page, so you can order online. So hope this was fun, and thank you for tuning in.